Okay, welcome back, Fish and a Rice Cake.
Welcome back.
I'm Jake.
I'm Jake.
Or Jacob and David. Jacob and David, whatever you prefer. But
Man of many names.
yeah, but basically the biceps and banter boys. We are the only biceps and banter boys now.
They've rebranded, haven't they?
Yeah.
Business and banter. They are
Business
now.
and banter.
Business and banter.
So we're officially literally we are biceps and banter.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck you, Dan. Fuck you, man. This is our brand now.
It is. We're going to run away with it.
But yeah, so we're gonna have a bit of a chat about, I think maybe just kind of ourselves today, aren't we?
I think just to bring you up to speed on where we're at the minute. I think, like we were saying, it's quite nice sometimes just to talk about yourself.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it just makes a difference to just kind of lecturing people or ranting at people about the stuff that we've been seeing. So
yeah, and like just sort of obviously talking about the fact that we do practice what we preach to a degree, but more I think like we obviously put updates on our socials, but there's only so much you can put in a caption.
Yes,
sometimes it's quite nice just to sit and chat about it.
Yeah. So as you'll probably know, we're both doing photo shoots in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we're just under 3 weeks out from
just
the
under 3
final
weeks.
shoot.
Yep, so we've got just under 3 weeks till we do photo shoot. You've also just stepped on stage.
I did, yeah. 2 weeks ago, just over 2 weeks ago now, I did my first ever. I keep saying my first ever bodybuilding show, but I did physique. I didn't do bodybuilding, but it is a bodybuilding.
So
show.
so because I'm shit at this stuff, like I say, it's like I'm rubbish when it comes to actual bodybuilding shows, etc. Because it's just not my thing. But so physique, is that? Because obviously you've got like physique. Would that be where you like wear longer shorts and
you wear the broad shorts?
Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. So it's basically all upper body. You're not there in your little tighty like.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Cool.
Yeah.
With you.
It was too cold in that room. I wasn't going to put the thong on.
So what? So what's the difference then? What are they looking for? What's the difference between like physique and bodybuilding?
So the lines are getting more and more blurred nowadays because of the size of the physique competitors. But essentially, bodybuilding is at its root, get as big as you can and as lean as you can.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
Physique is a little bit more, when it first started out, and it still is to a large degree, but it's a little bit more of the more aesthetic look.
Okay.
They want the sort of narrower waist, the bigger shoulders, a bit more of the beach body look.
Okay. That makes sense.
That kind of thing. That's why they don't judge you on legs.
Okay.
Legs are probably my strongest body part, so but it does depend on sort of your natural physique and your genetics and sort of how your hips sit and your shoulders sit and everything like that. But yeah, and then obviously now you've got classic, which is like the intermediary between those, because basically classic came about. We're going to get into like the classic came about because bodybuilding started more and more going down the route of just mass monsters of people that just looked
fucking
freakish.
Huge. Yeah.
And a lot of people didn't like it. They wanted to go back to the era of Arnie, who had a bit more, still of a more aesthetic, still massive, but more aesthetic and smaller waist. And then classic came about. That's how Chris Bumstead, classic champion, won again at the weekend. Fifth year in a row, I think he's won classic now.
Yeah.
Ryan Terry just won the Olympia for men's physique.
I
think on his 9th year or something. So yeah, good effort. He looked class. But you see the size of the guys now. And nowadays, especially with the pros, like the physique guys and the classic guys, there isn't much difference between them. You could put them in both categories and they'd look like the size of them's pretty similar. There's still then a big step up to open.
To these guys, I'm definitely fucking not. Like, it's unbelievable what they're doing. So where does the line get drawn with like natural and assisted?
Federations. So you literally have natural federations.
Do you? So you'll have like a natural comp and an
unnatural. For us over here, the one I did was the WMBF, which is a natural federation.
Right.
So as part of doing that federation, you have to do a polygraph test, and you can also get drug tested on the day as well. Typically, it's like if you place well in your class or you win your class,
you get a drug test.
You'll get a drug test.
So here's one, because again, like, you know, I'm not the most clued up when it comes to this side of things, but so how long would it go back, those tests? Like, how far back can they see in terms of the results?
I think it's like 3 to 6 months.
Okay, right. So it's a good amount of time.
Quite a while. Yeah.
Because otherwise, it kind of like, you know, you think, oh, well, someone could just fucking smash the gear.
Yeah, and I think that there will always be people that potentially try and do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they can go back quite a while now.
Okay.
And as well, you would be able to tell.
Oh, you can always tell.
Don't get me like the guys on the stage, even the stage that I was stepping on with, who were amateurs, who aren't pros. Obviously, it's not a pro show. look fucking incredible. But if you put them on the stage with assisted athletes, you can see the difference.
Right, okay.
Like, there is a big difference.
Yeah.
So I did the WNBF, which was down in Birmingham. You've also got like BNBF, UK DFBA, and there might be like, there's a couple of others as well. But I'm not that clued up. Like, bodybuilding isn't my thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've always followed it, and I've always had friends that compete.
You've got a couple of clients.
I've got a couple of clients that compete. My dad used to compete.
Yeah.
So I've sort of grown up in that environment a little bit, and I've always sort of ummed and ahed about maybe one day, just to tick off the experience, I might do a show. Yeah. I've never been interested in being like, I want to pursue bodybuilding and I want to try and be successful.
You've not done the show and thought, fucking hell, I love that. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do this.
If anything, mate, the opposite. Like, so the reason, so what ended up happening was we were dieting down for these shoots. A couple of weeks out, I was sort of like, do you know what? I'd been doing a bit of work with a posing coach with John, just out of general interest. I wanted to learn how to pose. There was no real actual goal to do a show at the start of that. One of my clients, Ryan, then did a show. He then did his final show. And I sort of thought, do you know what? I was like, I'm lean enough to do a show. And I don't know the next time I'm going to diet down to this degree again. I don't want it to be for a long time.
Yeah.
So I was like, I might as well just do one.
Yeah.
So I looked and there was a WNBF in 2 weeks. And I just thought, do you know what? Let's just do it. I was like, I don't care about the placing. I went into it literally being, I'm not gonna place. I'm not gonna win the class. I know I'm not, because I've got nowhere near enough size. First timer, like, I was like, but if I can show up on a day and be as conditioned as I need to be, so I don't look out of place on stage, and I know enough in terms of posing to again not look out of place, I was like, I'm happy. If I can just show up and someone can't sit there and go, he shouldn't be on that stage.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm happy, job done. And that was literally all it was. So we went down to Birmingham, or I went down to Birmingham. Unfortunately, they'd sold out a ticket, so I literally just went down by myself, like, so if I couldn't come or anything like that. Went down to Birmingham, got tanned up the night before, got tanned up again the next morning.
There's a lot of tan in there.
There is a lot of tan.
A fucking lot of tan.
And it was just that. And I think there was a massive class. Typically, you'll get like 4 to 8 people in the class. There was about 17 in mine. It's a popular classes physique. And so 17 guys on stage. And when we were getting pumped up backstage and everyone was sort of getting ready to go on, I kind of looked around and I thought, because everyone kept, I say everyone, there was only a few people that knew. So obviously you knew I was doing it. Mm-hmm. Sophie knew I was doing it. My coach knew I was doing it. And John knew I was doing it. And that was it. So there was not many people. And I was sort of thinking, and I wanted that because I wasn't doing it for anyone else. I wasn't doing it.
You're doing it for yourself, your own little experience.
I wasn't doing it to put on social media and be like, oh, I'm competing in a show and all that kind of shit. And then the next day being, I'm a prep coach now, which isn't happening. I just wanted the experience, so I kept it to myself. And then, but I did think, I was like, at some point, I'm going to shit myself. Like, I'm going to get nervous, like stepping on stage. I'm really going to get nervous.
I'd shit myself.
Yeah,
sure.
Well, I thought I would. And I just never did.
Oh,
like,
God.
I got down there and I was like, once I register and I get my tan on, then I'm going to be nervous. And I wasn't. And then the next morning, I was like, once I get there and I see the stage, then I'm going to be nervous.
How did you sleep the night before? Were you sleep
fine?
All right? Yeah, well.
Awkward because I was covered in tan, so I had to like lie on towels and like don't touch anything because I don't want to get charged for damaging all. Because it's literally like you get absolutely based. I was saying to you, like, it's still coming off as a tan now 2 weeks later, and I've scrubbed it with tan remover like 4 times over.
Yeah,
it's. I tell you what though, it's the cheapest teeth whitening I've ever had in my life because they make it that, like, honestly, when you look at the photos and I'm smiling, I'm like, my teeth have never looked whiter. But yeah, so it was good, but it was weird. I just didn't get nervous. And I think all I can put it down to was when we started pumping up backstage and everyone was getting ready and I was sort of having a bit of a look around and chatting to some of the other guys. Some of them were like headphones in, super serious. Like, you could tell this is like what they live for, which is fair enough. And then some of the other guys, like myself, were just a bit more there for have the experience, have a good time. And I was like looking around, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to win. Like, there's some guys here in serious shape. I was like, but actually, I was like, I'm probably leaner than 90% of the other guys here.
Seriously lean at the moment.
Yeah. I was like, I'm happy. So I was like, all I need to do now is not fuck up on stage with my posing and just do okay, which I did. And I made some mistakes, but no one ever notices. Like, obviously people will be able to tell, like, I'm not a seasoned fucking pro at it. But I didn't fuck up. So I was like, so when I was sort of stood there, I was like, I've got nothing to lose now.
Yeah.
I was like, no one here knows me. No one knows I'm here pretty much. I don't look stupid. I'm not going to win anyway. So I was like, I'll just go out and enjoy it. And it was all right. It was pretty good. I did enjoy the day. Like, I can't say like, oh yeah, it was weird, I didn't enjoy it. I was like, no, it was actually pretty good. But I came away from it and I was on the phone to Sophie on the way home and she was like, oh, do you think you'd want to do it again then? And I was just like, no. Because I was like, although I enjoyed it, I'm not now motivated enough to be like, right, now I'm going to dedicate the next 2 to 3, 4 years, which I would have to
do. Yeah,
I would have to dedicate 80 to 90% of my time and my effort to trying to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
You do have to literally live and breathe it.
Yeah, to go back in another 3 or 4 years to hopefully place a little bit higher. I'm like, I don't give a shit about that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care about it. I was like, I'm actually quite happy with how I look.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't feel the need to do all that.
Yeah. No, fair, folks.
But I was like, I'm glad I did it. And it's as much from a coaching point of view, I wanted to do it because I've had a few clients compete now, and one of my guys is wanting to compete again next year. I was like, I should really get the experience of doing this myself.
I think it's important. I think, I will probably never coach a competitor, like a bodybuilding competitor, because it's not my... if you go on my Instagram, no one is in that kind of condition. I don't really get people to that kind of condition. I'm sure I'd be very capable of doing it, but it's not something I've ever wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I probably would never do it, but I completely understand why you've done it. And
yeah, well, even the guys that I have prepped for their shows, like the first one I prepped he's just a mate from the gym who's competed loads before, and he came to me and he coaches him. He is a coach himself, and we've been chatting about things. And he approached me and was like, look, I'm thinking of doing a show. Would you prep me? And I kind of was like, well, I've never prepped anyone for a show. I know I probably could without sounding arrogant. I was like, I'm pretty confident I could. I was like, but I've never prepped anyone and I've not done it myself. I was like, so as long as you know that going into this and you're happy with that, I was like, let's do it. And he was happy with that and he did pretty well. I think we placed third in his qualifiers and then third in the British final. So he did pretty well.
That's pretty good.
And then it was the same with Ryan. Ryan's been my client for like 3 years now.
Yeah.
And he's done a couple of photo shoots. And then he turned around and was like, I really think I want to do a show. So I was like, all right, cool. Well, I've done it with one client now. I was like, let's do it. And then he did a couple of shows this year.
Yeah.
So then I was just like, it's not something I'm not interested in pushing getting prep clients on. I don't want to start prepping.
But you've got that experience. You know you can do it. You've been through the process yourself. You know what it feels like to go into the show. And it just, like you say, I think I actually put up a story on my Instagram yesterday, and just because I was curious to see what people would think. And it was essentially, I said, would you employ a coach who was out of shape? And I wasn't doing it to be like controversial or anything. I was just genuinely fucking curious. And I think it was something like 48 people said no, and like one person said yes. I think it's walking the walk is massively important. So to say you've done it, like say, fair folks, mate.
Yeah, I'm pleased. I'm happy I did it, and it's like the nicest thing now is that for the photo shoots, I don't need to be, and I don't want to be as lean as I was on stage. Yeah. Because the photo shoots, I think, always look a little bit better when you're a bit fuller.
We spoke.
So
about
now I'm in a position where I'm still in a deficit technically, but I'm eating up into the photo shoot. So now food every single week, food's going up a little bit and expenditure's coming down. Which is nice.
And I think that maybe that's something that we could talk about actually, because obviously a lot of people will say, well, because obviously we have a lot of photo shoot style clients, and me saying obviously I don't prep bodybuilders because I don't, it's totally different. So a lot of people think, well, what's the difference between a photo shoot and a show, I suppose. And a photo shoot it's just not as extreme. Like, it doesn't have to be. And obviously the beautiful thing about a photo shoot is nobody's there judging you. Like, the reason we do photo shoots is because it's a challenge to yourself, for one. So, if you just want to push yourself and get out of your comfort zone a little bit, like, it's great. But also a photo shoot is an opportunity for you to look the way you want to look. Like, nobody's dictating how you should look on a photo shoot. Like, that's completely up to you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think maybe because some people are listening to this probably thinking, well, what's the difference? Why do a photo shoot? Why not do a show? Or vice versa. Yeah. And I think that's the idea behind a photo shoot. So, like, we'll have some clients who will come into a photo shoot and they won't have abs, and stuff like that. And it's completely fine, like, because they're on their own journey, do you know what I mean? And they're on their own kind of thing. And it's them versus them. There's nothing more to it. And a photo shoot is just a great way for maybe to challenge yourself and add an extra layer of accountability for a period of time, which is why we do them as well, and we enjoy that process. I think it adds like a metaphorical fucking handcuffs for a period of time for you to really kind of get your head in the zone and dial yourself in and go for it.
Yeah, massively.
And that's why we do photo shoots. Just for those who are wondering.
Well, it was funny because I sort of said something along that lines again to Sophie on the way home. I was like, it's weird now having done them both. When I've done photo shoots in the past, I've left a photo shoot feeling buzzing and being like, right, I want to come back.
Yeah,
I want to come back next year
Yeah.
and I want to be even bigger and even leaner. Like I want to improve, I want to improve, I want to improve. And I left that show just being like, all right, happy I did that, but no interest in doing it again, sort of thing.
It's weird, isn't it? It's weird.
I got much more of a buzz from doing the photo shoots.
I don't know what it is about the photo shoots. Because like for me, if you'd asked me, Hannah, like 10 years ago if I'd ever do a photo shoot, I'd probably say no. But like, I fucking love doing them now. I love the process of it. And even for me, going into this photo shoot, like I've not really, like it's not been too extreme for me. It's not had to be, like maybe because I've got experience doing it in the past and things. It's been hard. Like we will speak about this in more detail, but like it's been hard because of like, it's been a very different prep with having a daughter and things. Like life has been very different.
You've had all sorts as well, haven't you? With like holidays, trips, and then not being
all sorts, like fucking all sorts. But yeah, there's just something about a shoot, and like it's not just for me as well. It's not just about the actual pictures. Like it's the day, it's the social, it's having all those people around there who have been on the same journey. Keep saying the word journey, but they have, and then you meet up with them on the day and you have a laugh. Like everyone has a bit of fucking banter. Like it's not serious. We eat some fucking donuts. We go have some beers after. We have a burger afterwards. It's just a fun environment. Whereas obviously I can imagine bodybuilding is a little bit more serious.
Yeah, it was quite nice. Like there were a couple of guys there on the day that were just a good laugh backstage, and were just there. Yeah, they took it like one of the lads who was probably making the most jokes and everything. He came like third or something.
Right. Okay.
Insane.
Yeah.
But then some of the lads. Again, quite rightly, it could just be a nerves thing.
Oh yeah, definitely. That'd be me.
We just head down.
And I'm quite a light-hearted guy, but like if I was in that situation, just because of pure fucking nerves, I would be like.
But I would just like because we had to sit in the sort of there was like an athlete sort of foyer section that you had to sit in before you got called backstage to get pumped up. So I was sat there for like an hour by myself, and I just had a Neil deGrasse Tyson podcast on. I was listening to like astrophysics whilst just like looking around and. Just eating a bit of, I think it's chicken rice or something.
Chicken and rice.
Just chilling out, and I was just sort of quite relaxed with it, which was nice. But yeah, so like quite rightly, some people take it very, very serious. But I think that was the other nice thing, and the other reason why I didn't feel nervous on the day was just because I had no emotional attachment. It wasn't the reason why I'd started dieting. It wasn't like I've been dieting 20 weeks for this day.
If you hadn't decided 2 weeks before and everything you had done was based around that day, you'd be shitting yourself.
100%.
Yeah.
But I wasn't, because I didn't have that. I was just like, just sort of quite a nice position here just to enjoy the day, experience it, and then... And as soon as it was done, like I was gone. I was like, right, Starbucks, got a vanilla latte, got in the car, I was up home. I was like, I'm ready to get back. And then it was about 45 minutes in the shower, scrubbing myself, trying to get the top layer of tan off.
You did a calzone, didn't you?
I did. I got back. I had a bowl of oats when I got back.
Yeah, standard Dave.
Bowl of protein oats, dark chocolate, frozen fruit, and then I got a calzone in the evening.
Nice, mate.
And had that. And shout out, I don't know if he does listen, but James really, he messaged me like the week before. It was when I put the post on actually about the last time we were here talking about the calzone.
Yeah.
Because he's from where we went to school together. He's a bit older than me, and he was like, "Oh, if you've never asked for it, ask for the pizza sauce as like a side pot to ask with the calzone.
Put a bit of that on as well."
He was like, "Whenever you next get a chance to have one," and I was like, "Well, I know I'm going to have one in like 5 days after the show," so I was like, "I'm going to ask for that," and I did ask, and it was fucking nice.
Oh, nice,
very,
mate.
very. But it was cold though. Wasn't expecting it. It was like a cold tomato sauce.
Okay.
And I didn't expect it to be cold. And
so did you use it as like a dipping sauce?
It's just a dip. Yeah.
So
at first I was like, "Oh, it's cold. I don't know what to think about this." Yeah. And then after I had a few more, I was like, "Oh, this is really, really nice." So yeah, definitely. If James is listening or does watch it, big thank you. I said I owe him a pint. Something I've had for years, and I've never had that with it, and it's just leveled
taking
it up
to another level. Added some extra calories in as well.
How are you feeling now? Obviously, we've got just under 3 weeks, 21 days.
All right,
19
mate.
days.
Oh, surprisingly, absolutely fine. Like. I know maybe I shouldn't be. I'm slightly concerned about that to a certain extent. But no, I feel good. I took some pictures the other day.
You look good. You look lean.
I feel it. I feel good. I mean, I said it was probably kind of half decent lighting where I took the pictures,
Yeah.
as always. And listen, like, at the end of the day, when we take these pictures, you've got you fucking, I was tenting and stuff. So like, it is bringing out the best of what my physique is, I suppose. But no, I genuinely feel good. Like, I genuinely feel good. I feel like looking back at my pictures from last year when I did my photo shoot and I was a similar kind of weight, I definitely feel bigger.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I feel like. So I didn't have like a planned gaining phase as such. I just, after my last shoot, it was very close to when Theo was going to be born.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for me, I just wanted headspace.
Yeah.
And for me, headspace was just like, no coach. I don't want to be tracking my calories to a certain extent. I was still tracking my data as in like my scale weight every single day just to make sure I wasn't going too far. But I knew I wanted to almost use that period of time as like, obviously enjoy family time, have a lot more freedom, a lot more flexibility. But and almost kind of have it as like an unplanned gaining phase. So the goal was always to gain weight. The goal was always to build muscle tissue in that time, but without having too much pressure on it, just because I knew there was going to be family commitments. But I feel like it's really weird. It's like I genuinely feel like I've put on quite a bit of size, certainly around like my delts and stuff. So now I'm feeling good, mate. I'm feeling good. I just think it's now like it's 3 weeks to go. So I would like to. Unlike yourself, obviously you're eating up. I'm probably going to eat down for the next couple of weeks, and the next 2 weeks will probably be quite aggressive for me, just to get that little bit last little bit off. But realistically, I could probably do a shoot tomorrow, and like
you definitely
could. The shots had come back quite well, so I'm very chilled about it. Just enjoying it, like. And for me as well, like I wanted this shoot to. Yes, I wanted to push myself, and for me it was more. But for me, the real reason that I did it in the end, because I wasn't going to do it. If you remember, you kind of twisted my arm. But like the reason I've done it in the end is for that accountability, because it's just a different level of accountability when you know you've got something to work towards. So I wanted the accountability of the photo shoot, and I've not put pressure on it again. Like because I've had the life has been so different. Like it's untrue. She's been getting ill. She doesn't sleep. Like it's not smooth, mate. Like it's so hard to explain. Some nights you might be living on an hour's sleep, literally. So
I thought, funnily enough, I was thinking about you the other morning at about 4 a.m. Nothing weird.
Oh, nice, mate.
Nothing weird. Nothing weird. But it was literally 2 mornings ago. Blue threw up, who is a dog, by the way. If you don't know, it's my dog. It's not a child. He threw up in the middle of the night. So he sleeps in his crate, by the bottom of our bed at the minute. And he threw up at like 4 a.m. So I got up. So sort of sorted him out and went and took him outside to the toilet and then I sort of stayed up with him just in case. Obviously, when that happens, you don't really know what's wrong with him. Yeah. So like, I don't just want to chuck him back in his crate if it happens again. So I went into the room with him. Chuck him back in the crate. And so I sat up with him I went into the front room and just sort of chilled on the couch for a couple of hours until sort of Sophie got up that day. But I was sat there thinking, this is what you've probably had to do for the entire thing. And I was like, I'm going to be wiped out by the end of today. I was like, fair play to you.
That's what I mean. It's been very different. Some days I've just been, I mean, you almost adjust, like you adjust to the fact that you're not having sleep and just your life. Like it's just the way you just get used to it. But some days have been really, really fucking hard. And like, not just that, like I've had holidays, during this time, family holidays as well, which... Because it's first family holidays, I've really wanted to enjoy, so I've not wanted to be too strict with my diet around those as well. So it's been a very gradual diet into this one. I think I put yesterday, it's been near enough kind of 10 months of not dieting because there's been periods of maintenance and stuff like that in there. But yeah, I think it's good for people to see because it's the reality of just chipping away over time. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And that's probably left me in a decent position where I've actually maintained a lot more muscle because it has been more gradual.
Yeah. And
because I have had for example, June and July were planned maintenance months. Like, again, I was training harder during that period of time. Didn't feel like I was dieting. So yes, it's taken me a fair old chunk of time to get from like the end of that bulk to where I am now, or like gaining phase to where I am now. But I feel good. It's been, do you know what I mean? Like I feel good.
Yeah, that's good. It's what you want. It's a good position to be
in. And could I be leaner? Yes, without a doubt. Could I have been more aggressive with it? Yes, without a doubt. But I didn't want to be, and like I'm just.
I think it's a good point to make that it's never going to go perfectly for you. And I think we have clients sometimes that go into a shoot prep and obviously want to get as lean as they possibly can, and they want it to go perfect, and it doesn't for whatever reason. They get injured, kids, holidays. And it is literally just about like, don't almost let it put you off doing the shoot or start criticizing yourself, because at the end of the day, like, that is life. Like, stuff is going to come up during, as long as you can say, I've done the best that I could possibly have done with the circumstances.
Given the circumstances, yeah, definitely.
That's all you can do.
That's it. And progress doesn't, like, I say to my clients all the time, like, they'll check in, they'll stress that they've not had a great week or whatever, but they might have had loads of external things that have happened. I'm like, well, given the circumstances, you've done fucking amazing.
Yeah.
So it's all circumstantial, do you know, like. So no, I'm like I say, given the circumstances, given everything that's been going on, I'm really pleased.
Yeah.
And I even just up to a couple of weeks, I was like literally bedridden for 2 weeks.
You were bad, weren't you?
Yeah, I was given steroids, not the good type, not the fun type. Like, I was just fucking out. So that kind of set me back. So yeah, with everything, mate, I'm really happy. So yeah, whether I do, I might. When Thea kind of sleeps a little bit more, if that fucking ever happens and stuff, like, I might like to push myself again a little bit harder at some point, but I think I'll go in and I'll be very content with the outcome.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is all you can ask for, isn't it?
It's a good spot to be in, isn't it?
Yeah,
yeah.
So, but no, I think that, I think after the shoot, I'm looking forward to eating some more food, but not to a crazy extent. Like, I'm just gonna, because it hasn't been so aggressive. It's been quite chilled. The next few weeks will be probably quite hard. Like, last few nights in particular, I've been waking up just fucking starving. You know the feeling. But like, so I'll have that for a few weeks. But I'm very much looking forward to going into like a performance related phase after this.
Yeah.
So
changing up the goals.
Yeah, just changing up the goals a little bit and just fucking, I've signed up to a half marathon next year.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
I enjoy running, so
Yeah.
I'll still be doing my weight training stuff, but just kind of, again, because we always talk about this, but it never stops, does it?
Yeah.
I'm not just going to do the photo shoot and fuck everything off. Like, you just progress on that.
Well, funnily enough, that's one thing that doing the show made me feel like, sort of reflecting on it this past week, was like, I'm very similar at the minute. I'm like, do you know what? I'd quite like next year to jump into different like physical challenges and do stuff like that. So like, I don't know whether I do a half marathon or not. I don't know. Well, I don't mind running, but just that kind of thing.
Yeah, just give yourself something else.
Just be like, okay, well, what could we actually do? Something a little bit different to sort of push towards and sort of do these different challenges.
Yeah, that's it. I've got a Tough Mudder in this summer as well, which
I'd love to do a Tough Mudder.
Yeah, so
we need to do them.
Get involved in ours, mate.
But,
I've got a couple of lads, but Tough Mudder, like I say, a half marathon. I'll still very much be focusing on my physique at the same time. Like, it's not like I'll just be fucking abandoning that. Like, but it'll just be slightly different.
Slightly, it's just tailored, isn't it? It's just
tailored, yeah, exactly. And for me, like, as vain as it sounds, I like to look good. So that will never ever go away. Do you know what I mean? And I will probably again do another photo, whether I do one next year or the year after. I probably will do another photo shoot at some stage.
Well, I don't want to do one now for at least like
a couple of years.
3 years at least. And that's the reason why I did the video shoot in October. I've just done the show. I've got my own photo shoot in 9 days.
Yeah.
And then I've got our photo shoot, the final one, because I was like, do you know what?
Take this opportunity.
I want to get as much as I possibly can, pictures wise, content wise, and all that kind of stuff, because I know that I'm not going to want to do it again for a good while. So I've got one coming up in 9 days now, something like that, which is nice because I'll get a bit of a carb up into that. And then you'll have that, and then it'll be mine's on the 15th, and then ours is on the 25th. Well, so it'll literally be So I think we've booked to go out for a meal on the 15th, the night of the 15th, just to have like a meal off after that first photo shoot, and then it'll be straight back into the normal plan.
Getting yourself ready for that one.
For the final one. Yeah.
But no, it's, like I say, it's a great challenge. It's just, and I think as well, it's nice for clients, not just clients, like everyone to hear maybe about our own little journeys, because it's, on the outside in, when we're posting our updates and stuff, like, everything can sound like fine and dandy when it never is. Like,
no, and I was saying to you earlier, like, I weirdly, even though food for me now is slightly higher and expenditure slightly lower, like, I'm starting to mentally check out, because I think I'm into week 26 or 27.
Yeah.
And I know I've only got a few weeks left.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to mentally check out a bit of being like, I'm ready for this to be done. But one thing that I keep sort of trying to remind myself that helps me is that back in May when I started this and I'd mapped out all the upcoming social events that I had for the year, all the photo shoot dates, I kind of said to myself, like, well, the last social event I had was mid-October. It was a friend's wedding down in London.
Yeah.
And I was saying in May, I was like, well, fucking hell, once I've done that, I'm pretty much there. Like, I've done months of dieting and then I've only got a bit left. So I'm sort of sat here now being a bit like, okay, I am starting to feel a bit mentally checked out, but on reflection of like the bigger picture, I've got to that point where I felt like, you know, you're pretty much there now. You've done all the hard work. So I'm like, just need to see it through for the last couple of weeks. And it'll fly by like it always does.
Yeah.
Like it's already been 2 weeks since that show and that literally feels like a couple of days ago.
Yeah. And this is it. And this is what we talk to our client, and we'll be talking to the blitzers about and stuff, is like this transition phase now, like, is so, for both of us and for everybody else who does not just a photo shoot, like a diet in general, is so important. Like, it's so important.
Yeah.
Because I've bounced back from things in the past and been really, really disappointed with myself. And
I find the post-diet period, the reverse diet period, the hardest part.
It's the hardest part.
For hunger and cravings.
Well, yeah, because everyone thinks, oh, diet's over. I'm going to be on increased food, calories, and I'm going to be able to, I'm like, that's it. It's like, it's fucking not, trust me. You know,
because the second you start eating more,
you
that
want
just
more.
Spikes. It's like adding coal to a fire.
It's like your body's been deprived of this stuff for so long that it's going to be like, fucking hell, I've missed that. I need more. And that's just genetic.
You don't have the psychological block of, I can't have it because I'm doing a photo shoot. Now there's nothing.
Exactly.
And even this time of year, you've got Christmas.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's really, really hard.
And we really, I try and drive it home to clients as much as possible. Like, once the diet's done, this is when the hard work starts. This is what we really need to work on.
And it's easy, and it is, and I get it to be like, oh, no, I'll be fine. Yeah. Like, I'll handle it. And it's like, no, trust me.
And I have had a
client
client
really, really tough
who have, despite me saying that, I've gone, no, I'll be fine. I'm going to finish coaching. I'm going to go on my own. And obviously, you can't do it. You know, their decision's their decision. It is what it is. And unfortunately, you know, I've probably had those clients come back to me in the past, and they've said, Jake, you were right. Like, I'm not just saying this, but you know, Jake, you were right. I should have stayed on. I should have done more. I've let myself go. And you know, weirdly, because I did the same thing as well. I remember after my first shoot, I gained 10 kilograms in like literally 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm talking like...
It happens.
And I looked like fucking shit as well. So I was really pissed off myself, and I've been, ever since then, it's like, no, you need... And I weirdly kind of think you almost have to go through that to realise, actually, I need to do this properly next time. Yeah. Because it does open your eyes like, shit, fucking hell, fucked up. So next time I get into shape, I need to make sure that I don't do that again.
Yeah.
And I do weirdly kind of say that to clients who come back to me. I'm like, listen, I did it. Like, you know, it's fine to have done it. And like, you know, with hindsight behind us now, we can go, right, well, next time we get you in shape, we don't do that again. Yeah. Listen to me. You know?
Yeah. It is a difficult sort of, it only lasts for about 4 or 5 weeks, and then it starts to settle down.
Month,
it does start to settle down, and then it's fine. But
once that settles, that's when you can then reassess and be like, right, wicked, now what's the goal? And we can go, right, let's start building some muscle tissue now once we've got rid of all that food focus and things.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think that's it. So
a bit of an update on us.
I think the next time we sit down to do these, we'll probably have done the shoot.
We will have done the shoot.
Yeah, because it'll be December, won't it? So it'll be Christmas episodes. We'll have to go through our favourite Christmas meal.
Yeah, we'll have to get some Santa hats, mate.
I was thinking that the other day, actually, I was going to suggest that.
Yeah, we'll come in with some fucking... We'll go to the markets, we're going to have a little stein, have a big fucking pint there. Like, you can get those...
Just get on it for an episode.
Yeah.
See what happens.
That'd be quite funny, that, wouldn't it?
One stein,
4 episodes,
that's me.
We'll be steaming. Can I have like one of those, what do they do, those Yorkshire pudding wraps?
Oh, they're incredible. Oh, there's a place, I've had the Yorkshire pudding wraps from the Yorkshire Roast Company, which are incredible. But there's a place in Leeds called, I think it's called Wap and Take.
Okay.
And Sophie's been sending me pictures of it. I don't know why, because it doesn't help. They do Yorkshire pudding burgers, and it's like a Sunday dinner in 2 Yorkshire puddings.
Fucking hell, that sounds amazing.
And we're literally right. As soon as this diet's done, we're going to try that. 100%. But they're incredible, aren't they?
Oh yeah, I love
Yorkshire puddings are like my favourite thing.
Yeah. Oh, Yorkshire puddings. I've had so many arguments with people, like people saying you can't have them on your normal roasted. I'm like, yes, you fucking can. Get them on there, drown them in gravy.
Oh, you can have them in oat.
Exactly.
Yeah. They used to be served as a dessert, didn't they? With jam and stuff. I mean, I've not had one with jam, but I would have one with jam.
Well, it's basically a pancake mix, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. It's just that. So, yeah.
But anyway, we won't talk about Yorkshire puddings too long.
Yeah, because we're still dieting at the minute, and it's not very helpful.
You will be a Yorkshire pudding. Right. All right, guys.
Catch you in the next one.
See you in a bit.